This is like a flying version of the goat.
That is so close.
Well, here we are out at the airport this morning, coming to see an air show. And we thought we'd like to come out and see what's going on.
This is your airplane, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I was seeing you flew down from Casper, Wyoming. All right. It's a beautiful bird. No offense, bird.
Hey.
So what is it?
It's a 1942 model SNJ5. So it's what the Navy flew.
Navy version.
So the Army called them a T6. I bought it and I've been addicted to it ever since.
I'm gonna do a walk around. Look at that. Am I showing your cockpit? Is that okay?
You bet.
I like this can down here that's catching the oil, draining out of the engine into it. Keeps the oil from leaking down on the tarmac. This is a Privateer that was built in 1944, so it's part of World War II. Privateer and the B24 are a lot the same airplane. The Privateer has a longer fuselage and it has a single tail, some different electronics on board. Find the right back here. You putting your granddaughters in there, bird?
Yeah, why not? That's where you want to be setting.
That is one big bird.
This bird or this bird? Which bird are you talking about, Jared? That is one fine looking bird, old bird. We are in the belly of the beast. Can you imagine this? Here's your catwalk right here. So you can move from the tail of the bird through the bomb bay where I'm standing up to the front. Lots of oil. Every time you fire them up, you got to add more oil. Look at all the cases of oil sitting in here. Nice bird. Engine's crooked. What's it packing?
Wyoming.
This is a piece of art right here. I guess it makes sense that you can rat rod and patina a truck or something. Why can't you do an airplane? I don't even know what to think. I've never seen anything like that. Why is it that this one attracts me? The oil leaking below.
This is like a flying version of the goat. There's an element of risk here that you like, huh? Isn't it cool though?
I want to see that zombie fly.
That's cool. Carrier takeoff. He showed us his belly right off the bat. That was cool.
Well, hey, we had a great time here at the air show. We're gonna bug out, and Bird says we need some lunch. He's talking about a burrito. I don't know, we'll go see what we get. What's your order, Bird?
You know, we got our favorite Soriano burros.
Tasty.
Remember getting those in Mexico?
Yeah.
You're going to see if this is anywhere close.
So Mechi started in Mexico. This restaurant started in Colonia Juarez, Mexico. And they were so successful that they came and opened one here. This is the Field of Honor. So each flag represents a veteran. Our own father has a flag here.
Lots of sacrifice there.
We are at the Commemorative Air Force, CAF, in Mesa, Arizona at Falcon Field.
Yeah, you know, I do remember when it was Confederate Air Force, but
Those were the good old days.
Yeah, it wasn't politically correct. At least that's what we got told. So
That's right. Well, we're political now, and
there we go. So
this is a great place to be. Lots of great airplanes. We're going to take a peek.
we looked at one of these in Alaska, if you remember.
Yeah, it was in the boneyard.
Yeah, but here's the one that operates.
Did you ever fly this one, Bird?
I have not.
So how long ago was it that you were with the CAF?
Well, I started over 30 years ago. How's that? So,
You were right here at Falcon Field, right?
I have flown on and worked on most of them. So, yeah.
The C-47 versus the DC-3.
Okay.
The difference only is what?
DC-3 set up when you go inside and look at it.
Okay.
You'll see. But
So it's actually
the
not a
C-47,
C-47.
all they had was just the deck of seats on the side, and that was it. They were just
Just made for jumping out of.
that's it. And cargo. Remember?
These things still fly all over the
yeah.
world every day. These are working machines.
You know how you know they're working? They drip oil. The ones that are in there you look at, there's no oil underneath them.
This is arguably the best airplane ever made.
I will agree with that. You know, because these things are not only beautiful birds, and they really are, but everybody who's flown them says that they fly very nice, and also they're just rugged as can be.
All right, well, let's go inside. This is a DC-3.
Well, it's a 47 converted, but it is a DC-3.
This one's nice.
No kidding, huh?
Wow.
You want to go for a ride?
I do.
Think we need to get all the brothers and go for a goat bro ride?
That'd be fun. These tail draggers, it is a hike uphill to get in this
Every bit
thing.
of it, huh? Wouldn't you like to bed back around in the day where this was your main, form of transportation, air transportation that is. You went to the airport and you hopped onto a DC-3.
Well, it was different in those days. People would go ride on an airplane. They put on their best clothes. All those little knobs, everything's doing something. Yeah, this thing was designed and built mid-30s, huh?
Mid-30s. DC-2s and DC-3s were hauling passengers
Long before the war.
Before the war started.
These tail draggers are so cool.
Aren't they?
I like these speakers. I don't know if that's authentic or not. Looks like
Pretty
it
cool
is.
though, huh?
We got to go for a ride in this plane.
Yeah. This brings back floods of memories for me. And I tell you, just walking in the place, just the smell of that aviation fuel, the oil, everything. It's a time warp.
There's a reason your nickname is Bird. You were well named.
I think is a prettier nose than the 47. It has to be the 17. But they both have the old coupe style front end. And that's what's cool about it, because they're both designed in the 30s. Those split windshields, isn't that cool? The BT-13 that you're looking for on the side of the hill.
That we're still going to go find.
We'll go back and look at it. This engine is out there laying on the side of the hill. They just left the pieces on the hillsides.
Good thing.
Yeah, so we go look at it.
We're going to go
if
look at it.
If you can find it. There's a story here. It was on the way to Midland to go to the air show, and somewhere in flight they lost a mag on one of the engines. It still flies, but they like to make sure that they have both mags working. So they touched down out there in Safford, and then they looked and found out that I was there available, so they called me up. They ordered another mag for it, and I was able to put it back on to get them up, get it going, and after doing that, I hopped on. I went to the air show with them. I told work, hey, I ain't coming back for a while.
That's awesome. This exact airplane then.
So
They stopped back in Safford and kicked you out on your way home?
no, anything to go for a ride. Fun bird to fly too. Yeah.
It looks like it'd be very responsive.
C-45 Beach, see right there. Really fun plane. Of course, noisy as could be. When you're up there cruising and the engines, they're so loud. And then on top of that, there's just no insulation on the inside. A lot of air noise.
That's what makes it good.
But it's so cool.
What is this?
This B25 is pretty cool. It's got a lot of history with me. I had the opportunity when this thing showed up here, it showed up in boxes, in pieces. There was nothing but a bunch of crates full of parts. We got the opportunity to put it together. And that was fun. I really enjoyed that. At the time we were just putting it together for kind of like a static display, But as we started putting it together, they realized this could be made airworthy. This was part of the Lend-Lease, is a lot of B-25s. He ended up going to Russia.
we were just discussing a story that we heard from our dad. He was a flight engineer trained and certified for the B-17, but during the war he was sent to Nome, and where he was a mechanic. And as a mechanic he would work on 25s, and I don't think they had many 17s up there.
Every now and then a 17 would show up, but
so he spent a lot of time working on 25s. One day he was in a 25 flying out over the Bering Sea with, I believe it was a Russian pilot.
I'm sure it was.
He had done whatever work on the engines and they had to certify it. Well, he asked the Russian pilot to do something. I think it was feather the prop probably. And for some reason, the Russian pilot reached up and killed both engines.
Both engines.
And so now B-25s will not glide. They fall out of the sky when the engines are turned off. So they're falling out of the sky. Dad said he knew death was upon him. And fortunately, before they went in the drink, they were able to get both engines fired back up and made it back to land safely. Dad did say he never wanted to fly on a B-25 again after that. But you remember reading the letter that he wrote home to Mom, right?
He said that he told Mother, he says, you know, I've never been superstitious, but this did happen on Friday the 13th, and the tail number on that airplane ended in 13.
I bet Dad never used number 13 as his lucky number after
No, that wasn't his lucky number.
Or maybe it was. He made it home.
He did make it home. So this is another SNJ. This is just like the one that we saw up in the air show.
Yeah.
And you know, like you were talking about earlier, there's a bunch of these things still around. And the reason why they made it is because after the war, these old trainers, they went on to serve in many different militaries all around the world. That's why so many of them got saved.
Well, the public was buying them.
Then the public was. You remember Father talking about after the war, you could go out there with $500 and hop in one of these, you know, BT-13 or you know, one of these T6s, whatever, and fly it home.
$500 and a barrel of fuel.
Barrel of fuel. You have to buy a barrel of fuel to put in it. Some relative did that. He went down and paid the money and went and
flew it home to Blue Water.
They're hot rods. They're so much fun. I tell you what, if you're out there doing maneuvers in this thing, doing dogfight maneuvers, so to speak, you'll find out how tough you are. It's different in the back seat when you're flying something or driving it. You kind of know what to expect. This is kind of like a roller coaster in the dark.
And don't eat lunch before you show up.
Don't show up with a burl in your stomach, because it won't be there for very long.
If you look at it, you know, from the outside you may think, okay, all of this is the engine. No, it's not.
That's it.
This here is the engine. This round plane right here of these pistons. I don't know what is this one, 9 pistons? The rest of it, this is the mounts holding it on the nose of the plane and hydraulics in here. It's really impressive what they did back in that era. Bert and I are standing in front of this B-17, the name of Sentimental Journey. Bert has been with this 17 and has many stories. All right, let's ascend this ladder and see what this is about. I've seen this in the movies.
Yep.
Bombardier compartment there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna get in here and turn around so I can see the cockpit. Oh wait, here we are.
Right here, this is what you do. You hold on and throw your legs up.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be doing that, Bert. This is great. Look at these windows. You know, you're flying the 17. Cabin is not pressurized, so you're flying along. You just open the window and you get some fresh air. Probably freeze yourself.
Oh man.
Move back here. Coming in on the Bombay. You know, in the movies, this looks all nice and like they have lots of space. But the reality is, these are some pretty tight spaces, as you can see.
Tell me.
These planes really didn't carry that many bombs for all the work they went through. This is the complete bomb bay right here to this back door. They'd stack the bombs up on this side and on this side, and they'd fly for 16 hours, whatever the mission was, and 1/3 of them would get shot out of the sky, all just to drop that many bombs. But they would send 1,000 of these planes at a time over Europe, right? The B-17 was the workhorse for Europe. So here's the navigator's seat here. This is the ball turret here. Climb inside that. You'd have to be a small guy and get down in there and go to work. You have to be a kid to be in one of these. That's the only way you can do it.
Did you look at the tail? Can you imagine getting back to the tail gunner?
I can't even imagine going back there.
Yeah. This normal traditional for when you come into an air show, that you buzz the town before you fly out and land at the airport, so everybody knows that you're there, so they can come out to the air show or come out and look at the plane, right? There's a really steep mountain that we had to fly up, so of course it's they pulled the yokes back, heading up, climbing. Pretty soon it was firewall. All of them were going.
Turbos screaming.
It was so cool because I was sitting there watching the ground from the nose. And you can see the ground get closer and closer and closer. And they're going, wow. Pretty soon you hear the engines just screaming on this thing. We topped it out. We just shot right over the top of the mountain there. On top of that hill, there happened to be a cemetery. And not only was there a cemetery, there was a service going on. I could see people standing around an open grave. I could see their heads bowed. It was right in the middle of that service. And as soon as we blew over the top of them, they all looked up and stared at us as we flew over. Of course, you know, we buzzed them hard. I really felt bad about that. I knew that those people would really be kind of upset that we really disturbed their service.
That is so close. That is inches.
Well, as you see, they had to move the plane. The way that went was after we landed at the airport, there was already a line at the gate. And I went up to the gate, you know, to let people in. You know, they were coming in to view the planes. I could see at the back of that line, there was a gentleman in a black suit with a white collar. I realized who he was. He came up to me and he asked if I recognized that there was a service going on that we flew over. And I said I had. I told him that I was really sorry and I apologized because I knew that we made a lot of noise. He said that he was sent out there by the family to come thank us, because they thought that was like a miracle to them. The person that was being laid to rest was a veteran of World War II. He had been paralyzed from an accident in the 17. They thought that it was a sign when the 17 flew over the service that all was well. So they wanted to thank us. And it surprised me is that that gentleman didn't even want to stay and go view the planes. He just wanted to deliver the message. Because I too believe that was a miracle. See, our good sister, she gave us these coupons a while back, and we're going to see if they're any good.
Well, we had a good day out at Falcon Field. Now we stopped here at Pete's Fish and Chips and enjoying some of the local cuisine.
We got fish and shrimp. Of course, the chips. Don't forget the chips.
And the root beer, the best part. Nobody eats at Pete's because the food is good. They eat at Pete's because they want the flavor of Pete's.
There you go.
That's why you come here.
We've been coming here since we were little guys. We forgot to mention something about Falcon Field. You know what it was part of the Royal Air Force during the Second World War.
England was sending some of their pilots here to Falcon Field to, well, they weren't pilots, they were here learning to be pilots. I can't say that it was good or that it was ever good, but it is exactly what I remember.
Exactly.
And it's delicious.
It's delicious. There you go.
It's one of those things you hate to like it.